I'm ranking every center fielder from every team in Major League Baseball. Welcome back to day number 7 of the 12 days of MLB rankings, where I rank every player from every team from every position in Major League Baseball for the 12 days leading up to Christmas, where on Christmas Day, I rank the top 50 players in Major League Baseball. So make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on any of that content, and let me know in the comment section what you think about my rankings. Without further ado, let's get going into these. Getting the rankings started at number 30, I've got Robert Hassell III of the Washington Nationals. I liked RH3 as a prospect, but last year just didn't really seem ready for the Major League level. The bat struggled a ton. The defense wasn't great in center field. He's a good athlete, not willing to give up on him just yet, but there are some big changes that need to be made. The fact that he struck out 30% of the time while walking under 4% while not playing good defense in center, so puts him at number 30 to get this one started. And I mean, 572 OPS, yeah, you guys get the deal. Next up at number 29, I've got Alek Thomas of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Thomas is really just a fourth outfielder at this point, plays okay defense in center field, doesn't really bring a ton at the plate offensively. He's a sub 300 on base guy with a little bit of pop in his bat. Great athlete, can run like the wind, but now we've seen him play 420 games and he's got a 234 average, 277 on base, 362 slug for a 639 OPS, OPS plus a 76. We just know the player that Alek Thomas is now. Another newcomer on the list at number 28, I've got Bryce Teodosio of the Los Angeles Angels. Teodosio definitely can't hit, but in the field, this might be one of the most elite defensive center fielders in the game. Only played in 50 games last year. Obviously, again, the bat wasn't great. 203 average, 248 on base, 304 slug for a 553 OPS, and he struck out like a ton, over 30%. But the glove's nuts. Like, you should just watch defensive highlights of him. The defense is incredible. He flies around the field, diving catches, good arm. Defensively, that is his entire thing, but because of the lack of hitting, gotta put him at number 28. Next up at number 27, I've got Tyrone Taylor of the New York Mets. Now, again, most likely this will be Carson Benj. I just don't know how to rank a guy who's never played at the major leagues. So we're going with Tyrone, who will get a lot of playing time still for this New York Mets team. Again, better off as a fourth outfielder, not a guy you want starting every single day. Last year, played a lot, 113 games, 2 homers, 18 doubles, 27 RBIs, and 12 stolen bases. Hit 223 with a 279 on base, 319 slug for a 598 OPS, and OPS plus at 70. Good glove, good arm, good athlete, but like all the guys towards the bottom of this list, a little bit one-dimensional because at the plate last year, struggled a lot. So have to put Tyrone a little bit lower than I would have hoped. Just missing on the top 25 at number 26, I've got Kyle Isbell of the Kansas City Royals. Isbell, glove first, you know it, has one of the best arms in the entire league and plays phenomenal defense every single year in center field. He's a bottom of the order guy who will get on base a little more than some of the others, has been consistently like a 1.5 to 2 win player. There's value for him. Again, maybe on a team with more offensive players, Kyle Isbell fits better into this lineup as a defensive first center fielder, but objectively speaking, I do think he keeps it just outside the top 25 at the position. 255 average, 301 on base, 353 slug for a 654 OPS, OPS plus 83. That plus good glove puts you at 26. Getting the top 25 start at number 25, I've got Victor Scott of the St. Louis Cardinals. Scott can absolutely fly, one of the fastest players in all of Major League Baseball, and this helps him out a ton in the defensive department because he gets to every single ball in the outfield, one of the best center fielders defensively in the entire game. The range is incredible, he's got a solid arm, and he makes incredible plays. At the plate, it was better than his rookie season, still a lot to improve on though. 138 games, 5 homers, 15 doubles, 37 RBIs, stole 34 bases, which is huge, only caught 4 times. Hit 216 with a 305 on base, 296 slug for a 601 OPS, OPS plus at 72. The defense is that good, where you can kind of rank him higher than some other guys despite having a sub 300 slug, but in order to get higher on the list, needs to become a more complete player. Next up at number 24, I've got Denzel Clark of the Athletics. Clark has only played in 47 games, and they have been one of the more fascinating 47-game samples. Defensively, Clark has the ability to be one of the best center fielders in all of baseball. It's not even close. The plays that he's made are truly unbelievable at times. Despite only playing in 47 games, he had 13 OAA last year, which was 98th percentile. He's one of the fastest players in the league, and he takes absolute war hacks at the plate. Now, he does strike out almost 40% of the time, doesn't walk at all, and really didn't hit at all. 3 homers, 8 doubles, 2 triples, and 8 RBIs with 6 stolen bases. Hit 230 with a 274 on base, 372 slug for a 646 OPS, OPS plus at 78. But the defense is legitimately insane. Over a full season, he would have put up like 30-something OAA if he kept the pace, which I think think he still might do. Denzel Clark's really good with the glove, has the bat speed to be able to hit the ball hard, clearly is strong, just can't really strike out nearly 40% of the time. Biggest dropper in today's video at number 23, I've got Luis Robert Jr. of the Chicago White Sox. Now, I am a Luis Robert Jr. believer. I think by the end of the season, he'll probably end up being a top 10 center fielder again. But based on the numbers that we've seen the last couple years, it's just really hard to get excited about Luis Robert, and I can understand why people are doubting him, because the last 2 years have been horrible. Almost identical stats the past 2 seasons, kind of crazy. 110 games, 14 homers, 12 doubles, 53 RBIs with 33 stolen bases. Hit 223 with a sub 300 on base at 297, 364 slug for a 661 OPS plus 85. Plays good defense. We know the ceiling is still extremely high for Robert. It's just the floor is also really low. Because of the variance in his game, I did have to drop him down after a second straight bad season, but I know as soon as he gets traded off the White Sox, he's going to be back to his all-star form. He's just simply way too talented. For the 22nd best center fielder in Major League Baseball, let's head out to Texas and talk about Evan Carter. Evan Carter has never played more than 63 games in a season, which is why I have to bump him down a little bit, but every single time he's played, it's been good, and so far in his career, he's played 131 games, 15 homers, 19 doubles, 52 RBIs with 19 stolen bases. That's great. 235 average, 326 on base, 420 slug for a 746 OPS and OPS plus at 116. That's great. I don't know if center field is necessarily the best position for him defensively. He seems to grade just fine there, but he can be a plus offensive player. I just simply need to see him play more. 3 seasons, 131 games, not enough, which is why I am going to keep him outside the top 20 right now. And then just outside the top 20, at number 21, I've got Chase DeLauter. I know I say I don't rank players who haven't played in the majors, but DeLauter has. Granted, it was in the postseason, but he played. He made his major league debut for the Guardians in the wild card round. Didn't have a ton of success, but we can look at his minor league numbers and we see a guy who's a pretty decent athlete. I don't know how he's going to grade in center field. Doesn't feel like it's going to be his defensive home necessarily, but he clearly can hit. He similarly has a problem staying on the field. The most games he's ever played since college is 57 in a season, so he's got to stay healthy, but he mashes. The exit feelers are great. He gets on base a ton, makes good swing decisions. I think just that alone, he could be a borderline top 20 center fielder next season. Getting the top 20 start at number 20, another dropper, I've got Parker Meadows of the Detroit Tigers. Meadows hurt last year, again, just hasn't played a lot, only 177 games in 3 seasons. In those 3 seasons, he's been a below average hitter, and last year was by far the worst. 215 average, 291 on base, 330 slug for a 621 OPS plus at 73. I'm not going to discount what we've seen in the past where he's been about a league average hitter with great defense, which I think is around a top 20 player at your position in center field. Just need some consistency again. Center field is such a weird position. You're starting to probably pick up on a trend. Not a ton of great players. Coming in at number 19, I've got Garrett Mitchell of the Milwaukee Brewers. I think Brewers are going to kind of have a revolving door in center field, but I went with Mitchell because this is the position that makes the most sense. Defensively, he's awesome, but similarly, hasn't played more than 69 games in a season. Not nice this time, unfortunately. Last year was the first time he really struggled hitting, but again, it was in 78 plate appearances, so do we really care? Overall for his career, 141 games, 13 homers, 21 doubles, 23 stolen bases with 40 RBIs, hit 254 with a 333 on base, 433 slug for a 766 OPS plus at 112. With good defense, I think he can be a borderline top 10 center fielder, but he just doesn't play enough, so I do have to put him down. Sometimes your best ability is availability, and Garrett Mitchell's almost never available. Heading out west at number 18, I've got Jung-Hoo Lee. Nice season for Jung-Hoo Lee last year. Defensively was one of the worst in center field, but hey, at the plate, 10% better than league average. We saw him be healthy, 150 games, 8 homers, 31 doubles, 12 triples, and 55 RBIs with 10 stolen bases. Hit 266 with a 327 on base, 407 slug, 735 OPS. Like I said, OPS plus at 110. It's a good little season for Jung-Hoo Lee. Because of the lack of power, I don't really know how much better he can get offensively without seeing that batting average just completely spike up. But this is a solid center fielder. Excited to see what he can do in 26. Next up at number 17, I've got Cedric Mullins of the Tampa Bay Rays. I think we probably went a little too harsh on Cedric Mullins because of how god-awful he was with the Mets. It's going to go down as one of the worst trades the Mets ever made at the deadline. Like a 565 OPS and played horrible defense in center. Feel bad for the guy. But Mullins is about a league average center fielder because prior to coming to the Mets, he had 15 homers, 49 RBIs, a 738 OPS, and played completely fine defense in center field. Still positive OAA, and he's been about a league average hitter with positive defense in center field for the last 3-4 seasons. It's hard to look past what he did the second half with the Mets, but I do think 17, 15 around this middle spot is fair to put Cedric Mullins, who I think will benefit from being in Tampa Bay. They always seem to get the most out of their players. It's a good home for him. Down a few spots at number 16, I've got Brenton Doyle of the Colorado Rockies. I really thought Doyle had broken out with the bat last season in 24, where he was about a league average hitter, 102 OPS plus, but he went back to being not really good at the plate in 2025, struggled a lot, 274 on base, 651 OPS plus at 72. He's a great athlete though, still stole 18 bags, hit 15 homers, plays incredible defense out in center. It's not the levels that it used to be, but again, year by year, it's a little bit tough. He still is really good there. Not a top 10 guy anymore in my eyes, but someone who I think has value, especially in that ballpark, how big the outfield is. That's huge for them. One of the better players on the Rockies, but what's that bat look like? That's my biggest question. Starting to doubt it a little bit. Getting the top 15 start. At number 15, I've got Jake Meyers of the Houston Astros. Now, I know Meyers is available on the trade market right now because the Astros could use some starting pitching, but Meyers, like low-key, had a good season. First real full season where Jake Meyers has been above league average at the plate. 292 average, 354 on base, 373 slug for a 727 OPS plus at 103. No power in his game whatsoever. He's a speed first guy, a contact first guy, and I don't think that's a bad move for him, especially because defensively, absolutely elite in center. The glove, the arm, the speed, everything is awesome. Jake Meyers brings value to a roster. This is a good ball player. Down 10 spots at number 14, I've got Michael Harris of the Atlanta Braves. Money Mike had a nightmare season and still kind of saved it by the end. Finished with a career high in home runs at 20. Now, granted, by far the most plate appearances he's ever had. Stole 20 bags, drove in over 80 runs, but yeah, it was horrible. And there definitely is something that needs to change with Michael Harris because it's unsustainable. Still phenomenal in center field, cannon of an arm, gets to every ball, but he hit 249 with a 268 on base, 409 slug for a 678 OPS plus at 88. It's the fourth straight season of a downtick offensively. He had a 2.5% walk rate. Like, things were just bad. I think he will have a better season. I don't think he's a bad player, but I've definitely got to drop him quite a bit because, man, a 2.5% walk rate with a sub 700 OPS is just not very good. Another guy dropping down quite a few spots here. At number 13, I've got O'Neal Cruz of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pirates fans, let me know. I'm just kind of tired of O'Neal Cruz, and maybe I'm underrating him right now, but the fact that we just haven't seen him take a step forward at all, I'm kind of done with him. Hard to look past what he did in 2024 because he was really good. But last season, given the reins, given everything, he just kind of stunk. Wasn't good defensively in center field. At the plate was below league average. A 200 batting average with a 298 on base, 378 slug for a 676 OPS. 20 homers, 18 doubles, 61 RBIs, 38 stolen bases. Led the National League in that, but like, I don't know, man. I'm kind of tired of O'Neal Cruz. I think I've got some fatigue with him. Not top 10 anymore, that's for sure. Next up at number 12, I've got Colton Cowser of the Baltimore Orioles. Nightmare season for Cowser. Was not good. Dealt with injuries and it definitely affected him, but in the 92 games he played, stunk it up. 196 average, 269 on base, 385 slug for a 655 OPS, 16 homers, 14 doubles, 40 RBIs, and 14 stolen bases, but the K rate was 35.5%. The walk rate was down. That's not the version of Colton Cowser we saw in 24, where he finished second in the Rookie of the Year voting. I'm sure league adjustments caught up a little bit. Let's see what Cowser can do in 2026. I still believe there's a very good player there. I mean, he's hit 40 homers in 2 seasons in center field, playing pretty good defense. That's worth something. And then just missing on the top 10 at number 11, I got TJ Friedl. I'm going to throw some respect on Friedel's name. He's a pretty good hitter, completely fine in center field. Think he'd be better in the corners, but I like Friedl. I do think he's a borderline top 10 guy in what is a weak position. Last season, 152 games, 14 homers, 22 doubles, 53 RBIs with 12 stolen bases. Hit 261 with a 364 on base, which is awesome. Love that. 378 slug for a 742 OPS plus at 102. He's just a little bit better than league average offensively in a position that doesn't have a lot of great hitters, and about league average with the glove, which weirdly puts you borderline top 10 at the position. Getting the top 10 started at number 10, I've got Jacob Marcy of the Miami Marlins. Small sample, only 55 games, but Marcy was awesome. He was so good. 292 average, 363 on base, 478 slug, 842 OPS plus at 132. Makes a ton of contact, is a great fielder, is a great athlete. Walked nearly 10% of the time while keeping that K rate almost below 20%. I think Marcy's going to be good. He was part of the package back to the Marlins for Luis Rise, and honestly, he's going to end up probably being one of the most valuable players in that entire trade. Marcy looks really good. I don't think he's going to be like an 840 OPS guy, but with his defense and probably a slightly above league average bat, yeah, it's top 10 for sure. Tied for the biggest rise in today's video at number 9, I've got Trent Grisham, up 19 spots. It's a great season for Trent. He actually finally got legitimate playing time with the Yankees, and what do you know? He was great. 34 homers, 74 RBIs. It is crazy to see that he only had 9 doubles, but that's just kind of how Yankee Stadium works. A 235 average, 348 on base, 464 slugging for an 811 OPS plus at 125. Perfect for Yankee Stadium. The defense in center, not great. Not the best. Definitely one of the weaker ones in these rankings, but if you're going to hit like Trent Grisham does, you're just a valuable player, especially getting on base for Aaron Judge. It's a top 10 center fielder in the game. I wouldn't love giving him $22 million a year, but 30 homers, 800 OPS, that's huge for the Yankees. He's still very good. Current free agent at number 8, Harrison Bader. Harrison Bader made huge changes to his offensive game last year, and I think they're sticky. The bat speed went up a ton. So yes, while the offensive numbers jumped a ton, it seems like as long as Bader keeps with that bat speed and keeps with the swing decisions he made, it's gonna work. 17 homers, 24 doubles, 54 RBIs with 11 stolen bases last year. Hit 277 with a 347 on base, 449 slug for a 796 OPS plus at 117, and we know he's one of the better defensive center fielders in the game. I might be underranking Harrison Bader here. Let's see what he can do in 26. But man, what he did last season, he's a dang good center fielder. I don't want to say it saved his career, but it definitely gave him way more value than being kind of a 4th outfielder now. Next up at number 7, also tied for the biggest jump, Ceddanne Rafaela of the Boston Red Sox. Defensive wizard, unreal good in center field. It's crazy. This was like a middle infield prospect who's turned into one of the best defensive center fielders in the entire sport. Gets to everything. The range is ridiculous. And at the plate last year, he went through ebbs and flows, but ended up being about a league average hitter. 16 homers, 34 doubles, 4 triples, and 63 RBIs with 20 stolen bases. Hit 249 with a 295 on base, 414 slug, 708 OPS plus at 95. 21 OAA. That's unbelievable. Only behind PCA. About a league average hitter. Yeah, that's a top 10 center fielder. Just missing on the top 5 at number 6, I've got Andy Pages of the Los Angeles Dodgers. I know the end of the season, and especially the playoff run for Pages, wasn't great, but that shouldn't make you forget about how good he was during the regular season. 156 games, 27 homers, 27 doubles, 86 RBIs with 14 stolen bases. Defensively, 6 OAA at the position. He has an absolute hose out in center field. 272 average, 313 on base, 461 slug, 774 OPS plus at 114. Made one of the biggest catches in World Series history against the Blue Jays, despite not doing anything with the bat. So good ball player. Like, yeah, he's gonna swing and miss a ton. He's gonna chase. He doesn't walk. But like 20 homers, 20 doubles, 80 RBIs, stolen bases, and great defense in center. Sign me up all day. It's a good ball player. It's also crazy. He's a 2-time World Series champion, only played 2 seasons. That's kind of awesome. Getting the top 5 start at number 5, everybody's favorite center fielder, Daulton Varsho. Hand up, what a god-awful ranking that was in retrospect. I was just mad at the Blue Jays. They'd let me down. I'd been such big fans of them, and then they stunk, and I was mad at Varsho, but yeah, this guy's ridiculously good. Defensively in center field, again, one of the premier center fielders with the glove in the entire league. Makes such ridiculous plays. And last year, while his on-base percentage was again below 300 for the 3rd straight season, the power was ridiculous. In 71 games, he hit 20 homers with 13 doubles, 55 RBIs, 548 slugging percentage. Despite the below 300 on base, still gave him an OPS at 833, OPS plus at 122. It's arguably the best season of his career. He just didn't play enough. But if Varsho plays a full season with that offensive production and his defense, it's going to be even higher on these rankings in 2026. Apologies to the North. Apologies to the Varsho family. Top 5 center fielder in the game. Next up, at number 4, I've got Jackson Merrill of the San Diego Padres. Honestly, nothing wrong with Merrill. He had a really good season still. Wasn't as good as his rookie year. That's the biggest takeback, but still. While battling injuries, 16 homers, 25 doubles, 67 RBIs, hit 264 with a 317 on base, 457 slug for a 774 OPS plus at 112. Still played good defense. It just wasn't as complete of a season as it was in 24, but the injuries, it makes sense. Merrill's still really good. He's only going to be 23 years old next year. This is one of the best young players in all of Major League Baseball, and definitely a top 5 center fielder. Projected for like an 820 OPS next year with 20 homers and good defense. Yeah, come on. Next up at number 3, I've got Byron Buxton of the Minnesota Twins. Buxton last year played over 102 games for the first time since 2017. He played in 126 games, 35 homers, 21 doubles, 7 triples, 83 RBIs with 24 stolen bases, didn't get caught once, 264 average, 327 on base, 551 slug is crazy, 878 OPS for an OPS plus at 136. The bat's incredible. The glove is still really good. He's running like the wind. It's just a health thing for Buxton. If we can get 140 games out of Buxton, man, he has an argument to be the best center fielder in baseball. And truthfully, these guys from 1 through 3 are so razor close. Buxton's incredible. Probably the best hitting center fielder fielder in all of Major League Baseball. But we know to get the number 1 spot, it's got to be everything all encompassed, which is why I have him just slightly missing out on 2 and ever so slightly missing out on 1. Because coming in at number 2, I think we have to put Pete Crow-Armstrong. Up 14 spots from last year, he had an incredible season. 157 games, 31 homers, 37 doubles, 35 stolen bases, 30-30-30, with what is the best center field defense we have seen in the StatCast era. PCA put up 24 OAA. That's just like unbelievable. That's so ridiculously good, and that's so valuable in what is the most valuable defensive position in the outfield, and he was good at the plate. Now, he's never going to be an on-base guy. Sub 300 on base feels nuts, but finished with an OPS at 768 because he did hit for so much power, an OPS plus at 118. The second half of the season was worse than the first, but this was a top 10 MVP voter, Gold Glove Award winner, All-Star, debatably the best glove in the entire sport at any position. PCA, number 2 center fielder for me in my books. Because coming in at number 1 still, the best center fielder in baseball, Julio Rodriguez. We might be underappreciating Julio. Last season was awesome, and of course, defensively, he is still very good out there. Julio had 11 OAA, which is still incredible. J-Rod, 32 homers, 31 doubles, 95 RBIs, 30 stolen bases, another 30-30-30 guy. 267 average, 324 on base, 474 slug, with a 798 OPS plus at 128. Finished 6th in the MVP voting. Huge reason why the Mariners made that run. He's only 25 next year. I think that's kind of what we forget sometimes. While he's played 4 seasons, they've also been 4 really good seasons, all in his early 20s. The guy's put up 23 WAR in 4 seasons. He's like low-key on a Hall of Fame path if he keeps this up. J-Rod is the best center fielder in baseball. I don't think there's actually a debate. So there they are, my center field rankings. Let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comment section below. Who do you agree with? Who do you disagree with? Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed, as well as subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the videos coming at you. You can follow me on all my social media. GiraffeNeckMarc links are in description, as always. And that's where I'll wrap it up. You know the drill from here on out. This is my most recent upload for the 12 days of MLB rankings, so click through that if you haven't seen it. And this will be a playlist to the 12 days. So make sure if you haven't seen either of them, you click them and watch them. Thank you guys so much for the amazing support. I'll catch you all tomorrow for the right field rankings. Bye.